7:30. Look how dark it is. Um, being sick and the nights are really bad. By the time I get dressed, it's 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and it's dark at 7, and so it's like there's 2 hours of daylight for me. It's so discouraging. My schedule is so not good, and the fear of going to bed remains. And I think I went to bed about 6 o'clock in the morning last night. I call it night because that's my night. And so discouraging. By the time you get dressed, it's dark, or it's going to be dark soon. Yeah. So last night, I'll tell you what the nights are like. I go to bed. I'm shoving my skull up. I'm conscious of my tongue. My tongue needs to be at the roof of my mouth. I need to be breathing through my nose. I have to wear CPAP. And God knows I would do anything not to wear CPAP. And even with CPAP, I'm consciously trying to keep my throat open. And, well, I wouldn't say that I'm consciously trying to keep my throat open. I would say that trying to keep my throat open is a problem, and physical health issues will make you conscious of them and make you think about it. It's not that, I'm obsessed with this idea that I have to keep my throat open. It's not a psychological issue. When you're suffering from something, it's going to draw your attention to it. So that's what I mean to say. And it's like when I relax, I'm drowning in the back of my throat, at the back of my tongue. And for years, like I fought to try to get a trach for a couple of years to breathe at night, and they wouldn't do it. And like a permanent hole cut in my throat so that I could breathe. But the issue wasn't just that. It was also a lack of drive to breathe, like the body not breathing often enough, which they've never diagnosed. They won't diagnose that. I don't know why. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance involved in this, and I think sometimes when there's nothing they can do for you, they won't tell you that. They'll just pretend that there's not a problem, or they'll pretend that, or they'll just say, I've done all I can do for you. They won't be transparent. The lack of transparency makes me insane. It's unfair. It's cruel. And also, I think they don't want to admit when they don't know what's going on, or they don't want to, they don't want to spell it out to you. They don't think it's their job to say to you, look, we don't know what to do. We don't know what's wrong with you, whatever. And anyways, so I'm shoving my skull up all night. And, this has been going on for decades, and it took 40 years, 25, no, let's see, 40 years to diagnose the apnea. as I begged for help. They were telling me it was a psych issue or anxiety or PTSD. And I always knew something was wrong. And, they'd rather die than admit that they were wrong. I didn't know what sleep apnea was until, it started getting really bad, and then it started getting severe. I mean, it was bad enough years ago when I had to quit working full time. And then, it continued, and it got so bad that I had to quit working. And the insomnia got worse and worse to the point where it was life-threatening. And the lack of drive to breathe got worse, and the medications were making that all worse. If you're on loads of respiratory depressants, benzodiazepines, sleeping pills and stuff, it's going to make your lack of drive to breathe worse. Opioids. Now I'm not on anything, but all these medications can make you sick or make you more sick. People don't understand that. They think they're benign, and they think there's no consequences to being prescribed all these things. That's not true at all. Anyways, so the nights I'm shoving my skull up. I'm trying to lock a small pillow under my chin. My teeth hurt, my sinuses hurt, my head hurts against the pillow. My ear hurts against the pillow. My skull hurts against the pillow. My sinuses and teeth ache. And I'm shoving my skull up. I'm shoving my chin up like my life depends on it. And I've got the CPAP on my face. I think, there's different things going on here. One of the real bad ones is falling asleep. Getting to the point where I can fall asleep. Where I can keep my throat open and fall asleep. And then I'm awake an hour later or an hour and a half later. I was watching TV the other night watching a movie in bed the other night, and my oxygen dropped to 76. Watching a movie. I didn't have the CPAP on. That's not normal. None of that's normal. Your oxygen should not be dropping to 76. Awake or asleep. With or without CPAP, your oxygen shouldn't be dropping to 76. And it's literal hell. I go to bed and I'm trapped in hell. I'm trapped in this body that, is not working right. And I end up being too afraid to sleep. It's been like this for years. I have the Chiari malformation. Maybe that's what it's all about. I hate when I meet new people and it's impossible to tell them all my health issues. The neuropathy, the muscle weakness. I can walk, but I can't stand for long. I can't stand for long and do the dishes or house clean. I don't have the strength. I can't really bend over and get back up. I'm out of breath when I wake up. And when I wake up, I'm exhausted. I'm ready to collapse when I wake up. And it takes me hours to just get dressed. And there's something wrong with my breathing. I don't understand it. Yeah, I met someone, a new neighbor today. We were sat and talked about health issues and stuff, and there's no way I can explain to somebody all my health issues. I don't even know. I don't even know myself how to explain to somebody else. How do you get support from people? How do you make friends when you're so exhausted that you're ready to fall over? I don't make plans with anybody ever. No, I don't see anybody ever. I'm isolated because of all of this. I'm so tired. I'm, not depressed, but I'd say I'm in a state of medical trauma. Anyways, I just thought I'd come on here and say hi. I lost everybody, all my followers. I think a couple of you have found me again. What this has done to me financially has been just devastating. I don't know how to survive any of this. No patient like this should be on their own, with no one to troubleshoot and no one to talk to about these things from day to day. I need a game plan. I've always needed my family. My family refuses to help. I need a game plan. I've got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I need to know what I'm doing when I walk in there, and I have no idea. You know, your family doctor is supposed to be your advocate, and they're supposed to help you figure out where do we go from here. I don't know. I don't know what to say when I get there. There's so many problems, and we get sidetracked, and then the appointment just disappears. I need someone, a family member, a spouse, a sibling, whatever, to help me prepare for these medical appointments, so that they don't all go to waste, and they all do. I'm not well enough to do this on my own. I shouldn't be, the manager of all this when I'm this ill. And unfortunately, this is what happens. Yeah, this really discourages me. It's like my day just began. Not that my day ever entails anything, but look how dark it is. It's really discouraging. And having no vehicle, not having the strength to get around on a bus or anything, not being well enough. I don't feel well enough to get on a bus and go places. I run out of strength. My legs tell me when I'm done, and I sit on the side of the street. Something wrong with my breathing, I don't know what. Something wrong with my sleep, I don't know what. It's not trauma. It never was anxiety or trauma. They like to make that scenario up, and they like to carve it in blood in your medical record when it's not true. Lots of medical injuries in my history as well, so that it's to their advantage if they carve that into my medical record. Anyways, I hope everyone's doing well out there. Say hi.